Okay, let's go over quickly some of the requirements for the assignment for this unit. Here's an example of the completed assignment. It's based off the practice program we did. There we were displaying the temperature and the wind location for a specific location, Duluth, Minnesota. We added two more fields here, a location and a weather conditions. And again, we're grabbing those also from the XML field. So if I pull up the XML file here, there's a location field here, and this is the file from Duluth. And then there's also a weather tag here. And this might say snowing or raining or some partly cloudy or something like that. Right now it's clear and fair in, or at least when I pulled up this file, it was fair. The weather was just fair. So that's what I just want to pull up that tag here. So it's very similar to how we pulled up the temperature string, and we did the wind string also. So you can use similar code, and again we've got some text boxes here and you can drop them into those similar text boxes here. So just add a couple more text boxes with some descriptions for them in here. The other change is we've gotten rid of the two buttons that, and we've moved that code. You can use one version of the code or the other, it doesn't really matter. Move that code into the page load event so that when this runs, it'll load up, by default, it'll load up the Duluth weather to start with. So when I just run this page and it loads up the Duluth weather right away. So there's no buttons you have to click. Now, I've also added a drop-down box here where I can select different cities locations, and I want you to configure at least 3 locations into here, and we'll get weather from 3 different locations. So each of those locations is going to have a different URL that we're going to grab the weather information from. Now remember to get those weather URLs. You can just go to National Weather Service. If you just Google or Bing or search whatever weather XML, you should be able to find the National Weather Service's link. You can select the state, and again, sometimes if you have people in different locations or areas, feel free to grab whatever locations you want. I'm just going to grab Minnesota. And like for Duluth, make sure you grab the XML. And again, most web browsers, you should be able to right click and somehow save or copy the link address for those files. So I've done a couple. So I did, for example, let's do one more here for us. Let's do the St. Paul downtown airport here. So again, I'm going to right click and grab that link address. Now in your code here, oops, let's stop this. This is a drop-down box, and I want you to configure this. And if you remember, we haven't done drop-down boxes in a while, but there should be a items property, and it should be a collection. So under that collection, you can add new items. And each item will have a text, the name that's displayed. So if I'm going to do St. Paul, I can. And then a value. And for the value, that's what you're going to want to store the URL for the weather information is. And then in your code, when they change this, if you double click on this, it'll bring up the code. And I'm not going to do it because I want you to work on that code. Bring up the code for whenever this value is changed, and then you can get this drop-down box's value for the selected item. Okay, I decided I would show you that code. So if you click on this, you get the value of the selected item. So again, you can, DD location is the name of my drop-down box, and I can say selected value, and that'll return the selected value. Here I'm just storing it into a string that I've declared, a global string, and I have my code in another method called update weather. You can easily set up this so that you pass that selected string value as a parameter to update weather. I'm using a global string variable here, and update weather then uses that to connect. But either way, you need to somehow then configure your code so that the page loads automatically, the weather loads automatically, and then also whenever you change this value, you'll run that same code with a different weather string. If you remember, one of the first things we do is do a load. That is a web client download string or some similar command to download the website, and you'll just want to use the current location string for that. So those are the main things. Like I say, add a location and a weather conditions text box and pull those fields from the URL. Remove the buttons and move the code from one of the buttons into the page load event or in a separate method and call that from the page load event. And then add this other drop down box and add at least 3 locations through the items area. And when people change that, again, call that code again with the new URL or string for the location and update these values again. So that's the assignment for this unit.